We're going to go up to Portland and then we fly out in the morning on Thursday. So.
What are you looking to see over there?
Hawaii? Diamond Head, pineapples.
Bring your clubs with you or something?
I don't golf. I don't have any real hobbies outside of my family and baseball, and I fish sometimes with time, but I'm so bad at golf. I'm not really good at fishing either, but I'm good at trying to fish. How about that? And it's more fun for me.
It's a better idea of the starting rotation you're gonna feel at this point?
Yeah. Yeah, we can. We're gonna start Urban on Friday. We're gonna start David Peterson on Saturday, Trent Padden on Sunday, and Jack Carricker on Monday.
What does that mean for Cole to have worked his way back out?
That's great. You know, he's invested a lot of time and energy, and you know those milestones of the first time you play catch, first time you get on the mound, the first time you throw a changeup, the first time you spin the ball. He's right on schedule, right on cue, and they've taken an aggressive approach, semi-aggressive approach, cautiously aggressive, and he's passed all the challenges, including throwing to hitters and scrimmages and so forth, and looked, you know, he's not as sharp as he would be, but I think he's ready to go, and he's on a pitch count, and between the medical people, Tom Emery, his surgeon, and Coach Stiles and I will decide what that is on Friday. Still working through some of those. I'm not a professional, and in the case of a guy like him that has a tremendous upside future, I just want to make sure the medical people and the old school baseball coach match up.
So is it closer to 3-4 innings or 5-6 innings?
3,
do you think?
2 or 3 probably.
Okay.
30, 35 competitive pitches, and then so it'll kind of depend on how he gets to that point, and you know, because you have the warm-up period, and then you have the pitches in between innings as well. So we'll watch him very carefully.
Is there a time limit on that? I mean, when you think he could get to 5-6 or 6-7?
Yeah, in fact, he's mapped it out. He and his therapist have mapped it out long range. So you know, there's obviously ebbs and flows, and good weeks and bad weeks, and what we're not going to do, what I'm not willing to do, is every single day check with his therapist. I've got to coach 33 other guys, and but that'll be up to Cole and Coach Stiles and I to make sure we're all as close to being on the same page as possible.
By the time conference comes around, could it be a guy that you
Yeah,
can count on
you know,
on
some
Friday
of
night
that's
TV
going to
as
be,
much
I
as you need?
think. Yeah, I think some of that's going to be based on how he does. You know, I don't know if there's to get out 3 months in advance or 2 months in advance without knowing, again, how did he get to that? You know, did he have some soreness? Did he have some stiffness? I think is unrealistic. You're just projecting something that we won't have the answer to that until we go through some of the steps, I guess would be the best way to say it. I know he's anxious to help the team and unselfish, and he thinks all signs are go, but then the adults would be the coaching staff and the doctors to make sure he's not doing too much too soon. And that's the natural tendency and excitement that for all of us when the season starts, you get over competitive, and what we wouldn't want to do is have a setback. So
then you just have a long guy ready to go.
that's right. It's almost as though we need 5 starters.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I don't want to tell you who we're going to pitch next, but we have a plan. So
Okay.
it's actually a guy that would have been a starter anyway. So that's how we're going about it. Why are we throwing him in the beginning is because that's what the role he's going to pitch in. So that's unfortunate for that second guy.
Yeah.
But the second guy now will have a couple of 3 innings to watch Cole hopefully do well, and then get his nervousness in the 3rd or 4th inning, you know, one of those things, and that kind of stuff.
When you talk about that's his role, are you referring to Cole as your Friday guy, or the other fellow, the long guy? No.
I would say if everything runs its course and Cole comes back as strong as we think he is, and this is all speculative of over a year ago, he should be the Friday guy.
Do you feel like your team's ready going into Hawaii?
We're ready to play
where
somebody.
You want to be, where they want to be?
No, but I don't imagine Coach Trapasso would say Hawaii is where they need to be. I don't know if anybody in the country, unless they have all their personnel back from the year before is going, wow, we're ready, we're in midseason form. And the other side of that is, do you want to be in midseason form? That means you're not getting better. There's some question marks in youth and inexperience, and we would have liked another month of practice probably with great weather. The NCAA doesn't allow any of us to do that, and so I think across the country everybody's thinking, oh, I wish we could have done this more, found out about this more. And like I said originally, we're ready to compete against somebody else because you get tired of competing against each other. The whole team knows the defensive plays versus the offensive plays, and they know how to pitch each other. And you get a guy like Mitch Coleman that's been through 2 of these falls, third fall, and I'm sure he's very anxious to have real at-bats against another pitcher. And all of our guys speak for our entire team, and it has nothing to do with going to the paradise in Hawaii. It's about playing somebody new and good. I understand it might rain a little bit in Hawaii on Friday, so it might be a little warmer than some of this. Although it's kind of been warm, huh? We can't complain.
When you talk Peterson and and Carricker, is that an idea that those 3 guys are in line for the starting as we go along, or are you kind of putting guys out there for some innings now? Do you have kind of a rotation? Do you look at Peterson and Padden and Carricker as kind of leading candidates to be in that rotation as you go through?
Yeah, not every weekend's going to be a 4-game series.
Yeah.
We have those back-to-back. We have New Mexico State Thursday through Sunday. So, but the weekends that you have a 3-game series, typically you have a midweek game. So, once Cole gets back, if he gets back, and now he can chew up some innings as a normal start, then one of those guys would strengthen our bullpen, hopefully. And then we've got a whole bunch of guys that the best way to describe them is they've been a mixture of good and bad. Hopefully the good shows up. They've been inconsistent, and that's why they're long relief guys. The guys that at the back end of the bullpen right now will be Graham, Nagosic, and Clevenger. Clevenger will be, if we said who's our stopper, who's our Jake Reed, who's our Jimmy Sherfy, that would be Garrett Clevenger.
Yeah. So you transition no-go back into that role.
Yeah, the back end of the bullpen. That's a compliment. He might have wanted to be a starter and all that. And so our guys don't even know all this yet. Whammer and Sean and Mitch. We're going to actually post a depth chart this afternoon after we get done working out. So they have a little bit of an idea because we've had a report card, as we would call it, a depth chart off the fall. But this will be their first real depth chart. Where they look at a ready list, and it'll have the travel list on it, and it'll have the who gets to go to Hawaii, and it'll also have a starting lineup, both against a left-handed pitcher and a right-handed pitcher, and it'll have who's starting, and it'll have who's pitching in long relief and who's pitching in short relief. So this is their first look at that and understanding of that as well.
And you'll let that out? You'll put that up for us?
You can get that from Todd. He'll share with you what he knows.
I'll have our probables and the release like I do every release.
What do you think
Talk a lot
of the
about
batting order of your offense?
What do I think of it?
Yeah, you got kind of an idea. You mentioned kind of some guys at
Yeah,
the top and the middle.
and I'm not embarrassed to say that the guy, I have my input because I'm the head coach, and I'm not saying this because I think it's going to go sideways. I'm the least one of the least important coaches when it comes to setting the batting order. That'll be Coach Waz and Coach Ullman. They invest all the time. They've done all the instruction. They're in the cages throwing to them. And I have my opinion, and I contribute, but their opinion as far as that matters more than mine and Coach Stiles. Now, on the pitching side of things, Coach Stiles' opinion and my opinion matters more than Coach Waz and Coach Ullman, because we trust our position coaches. We delegate a lot. They invest a lot with the athletes. And then ultimately, here's what I'd like to go on record to say. Anything that works good on our team, that'll be my job. And I'll take full credit for that. Anything, including the losses that happen, that'll be the assistant coach's responsibility.
The guys from Seminole, what kind of impact can they have on your team for this year?
That was a joke, Sean. Mitch.
I was toned out.
What's that?
The guys from Seminole, Cuddy, and St. Louis, what kind of impact can they have on your club?
Well, those three guys, the two Seminole kids and Uriste, are in the starting lineup. And late in the summer, kudos to Coach Waz, we thought we might need some corner left-handed bats. That was a guess based on the draft and returners, and that's not a knock on Mitch, who's sitting there listening to me, because we thought Mitch was going to play back in the middle. So I guess the best way to say it, we need more hitters like Sean Chase and Mitch Tolman, in our opinion, and those three guys have been tremendous. Cuddy had a little bit of a hiccup and wasn't really good in the fall, and he wasn't throwing. His arm didn't feel great, so he backed off. And boy, since we've come back, he's been outstanding. St. Louis is a hitter, and probably hasn't been as dominant as Cuddy and Uriste since January, but he's a hitter. And Uriste's been a tremendous player. He's a good-looking third baseman, so we feel good about that.
How's the center field competition going on between Catalano and Grossbeck?
Catalano will get the first crack at it. Graybeck has struggled. Unfortunately, he's got a potential to be a complete baseball player, but I know, speaking for the offensive coaches, he hasn't showed as consistently the excellence that we think he's capable of so far. So Heineman's back in the mix. Heineman would be our starting right fielder. He's capable of playing center. Packard would be our left fielder. And so, say this accurately, we hope that Catalano and Graybeck take that position and run with it, and one of the two of those guys. Waiting in the wings would be Scott Heineman, who's totally capable of playing center field, and that would open up another opportunity for other outfielders, Goldfarb and guys like that, that could play the corners. So it's still, like I said, Catalano's going to get the first crack, and let's hope that the season brings the best out of Nick and all of our players, but certainly Austin Graybeck as well.
How about the infield? Runs through the infield?
Uriste at third, Caraviotis at short, Tolman at second, and Cuddy at first.
St. Louis DH.
St. Louis DH, yeah.
Whammer behind the plate?
Whammer behind the plate. Followed very closely by Cisnera and Graham.
You see the coaches picked you second?
Yeah, I talked about that at Oregon Club. Those are educated guesses, and I would say that's a poll that probably matters because they know our personnel. And but I don't know. I'd have to go back. I don't think any of us coaches put a whole lot of into the coaches poll or any other poll. You have to go out and earn it on the field. They were right last year because I think Oregon State was probably touted as the favorite, and they did win it. 2 years ago, probably. I guess my guess would be Oregon State wasn't picked to win it, and they won it. I think polls are polls, and we're in the teens nationally. My team would be the first to tell you we have to earn any of that, and those are all just educated guesses. And some polls are more accurate personnel-wise than others, but I'm glad they don't just go by polls because I don't want to be 15th. We want to be the top 2 2/3%. And we want to go to the College World Series, and we want to win the College World Series.
You surprised to see Oregon State at 5 after winning back-to-back championship last year?
Yeah, again, that's based on personnel.
Yeah.
Like I told you guys the last time,